Hello and welcome to the Mindful Making video podcast. The Mindful Making channel is all about making with our hands and the sense of grounding that gives us. And I particularly enjoy working with yarn and with knitting needles. So if you're into those two things, yarn and needles, yarn and knitting needles, you've landed in the right place. My name is Jane, and today it is Sunday, the 30th of July, and it is a beautiful, sunny, and actually quite warm midwinter day here in Sydney, Australia. And the neighbours are out working their gardens, so you may hear noises from them. But I hope you can still hear me and that we will have an enjoyable 30 minutes or so together. Before I start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that I am recording this video from. I am on Darug Ku-ring-gai land, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land, and I would like to extend that acknowledgement to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who might be watching this video. Welcome, this is episode number 52. My name is Jane. I'm a Danish Australian. I live in Hornsby Heights, north of Sydney. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I know that since the last episode, I am happy to welcome many new viewers, and I hope you will enjoy this video too. As the title of this episode says, we will be, or I will take you back to the visit to the Australian Sheep and Wool Show that happened probably 3 weekends ago now, in the middle of July, and I had the pleasure of going there with good knitting friends, local knitting friends, and I have recorded a short video that I put together for you, and it will be, you can see that sort of in the middle of this video, so stay tuned for that. But let me start with where you can find me. So the best place to find everything about my web shop and my making and my knitting patterns is on my website, which is mindfulmaking.com.au. From there you could also find the link to my Instagram account, which is mindfulmaking, and Ravelry mindfulmakingAU. And on the website there is the web shop where I sell my knitting designs and yarn. And also, if you are interested in links to what I'm talking about today, you will find the show notes there in the posts and podcasts, blogs and posts or something. So you will find the show notes there, and in the description box there is a direct link to those show notes. So I hope that will help you navigate the different places to find more information. But let's jump into the knitting part of this episode, and I will start with, as per tradition, what I am wearing. I am wearing the cuppa sweater. It is a beautiful round yoke lace pattern designed by Sari Nordlund, a very skilled, productive Finnish knitwear designer. I knitted this jumper a few years back, last year or the year before, and I loved it, and I love to wear it. It is a bit warm today though. I hadn't expected having so high temperatures today, but I thought I would wear it for you guys. I knitted this in the super soft yarn, which is a 100% wool yarn from Holzgarn, and I carry that yarn in my web shop. This colorway is Scarab, which sadly I don't carry, but I will show you a few other color alternatives. It is worked single-stranded, which gives a very light fabric, warm and light, and it's basically one of my favorite jumpers, knitted fabric for winter and for the transition of seasons, because it regulates temperature very well, and it's, as I said, both warm and light. And the feature of this design is, of course, this beautiful lace pattern on the round yoke. That lace pattern is repeated on the sleeves towards the end. Beautiful twisted rib in this broad neckline, which I think suits this design very well. It is quite short, I have made it quite short, so it's like this on me. I like bracelet length sleeves or watch length sleeves. Yeah, so this is how it fits on me. My gauge was tighter than what the pattern called for, so I have gone up a size or 2. The details are available, the notes are available on my Ravelry page and in the projects there, mindfulmakingAU. And please follow me and befriend me on Ravelry as well, that would be lovely. This is knitted on so the main needle is a 375mm needle, and I think I used the same for the yoke pattern, and then a 3.5mm needle for the neckline. So if you are interested in other color options, let me just show you a few that I've picked out from what I stock on the web shop. If we go for greens, there is this which is called Sage Blue. Beautiful tonal blue and green, or mostly green, with just an undertone of blue. Would work very well. There we go. And then we also have this one, which is a dark olive. It's a very pretty color, and sadly I don't think it comes through as that deep green, brown, gray as it is in real life. It's sort of a deep army green. It's called dark olive and will be very beautiful in a jumper like this. Another option is the Mouflon, which is also a brown but have a warmer undertone than the Scarab that I have used. And then finally moving into the browns and grays, here is a dark brown which is called Donkey, which would also be beautiful in a jumper like this, where it's sort of the pattern needs to stand out. So, well, this is what I prefer, a calmer colorway in the yarn, where it doesn't have the yarn, where there is not that much happening, so this gets to shine. So this have a bit of a mixture of a gray as well within the brown, so it's not mild, but it has life to it. And the other last one that I will just show you as an example is a beautiful light gray, the silver gray, which I am falling in love with. Just a simple gray, which I think looks beautiful in everything, and it has a mix in each thread, a mix of darker and lighter gray. I think this will go in my next project, because I just feel that my wardrobe calls out for something in a light grey. Those are a few options for if you wanted your own cuppa. and using other colors of the super soft yarn. I'm just moving a bit around because the camera is not mirrored and it confuses my brain totally. But anyway, bear with me. So that is what I'm wearing, the cuppa jumper. Of finished objects, last episode I talked about a little dress that I had on my needles. It is off my needles, and I will, although almost final, I will regard it as a finished object. It's a bit scrunched up, sorry, because I only have 2 buttons to sew in, and then it will be completely final, but I just pretend that it is done. It is the Bella dress, and it's a design by Lene Holme Samsø, a Danish knitwear designer. This pattern is, as far as I remember, only available in Danish. And this is size 9 months to 12 months. So, well, and the little girl was born on the 25th of June. So there's still time to get the buttons in and send it off. This is the back. It has this beautiful little leaf motif around the yoke. The color here is cocoa, and it's a coast yarn, so it's a mixture of cotton and wool. I have this colorway in the web shop. It's a sort of purple gray, beautiful color in my world. I have knitted single stranded with the coast. It gives a very light fabric on a, I think, 3.5 or 375 millimeter needle. 2 buttons, and then it will be washed and sent off. These markers out here is just so that they don't disappear. Yeah, 1 finished object. The next finished object is a beanie. Yes, here it is, a simple black beanie, and I started this the day before leaving for Bendigo. Bendigo is an 8-9 hours drive south of here, so it's in the winter, well, also in summer, it's colder. So I needed a beanie because my daughter has borrowed my beanie, or the only beanie that we have in the house actually, for her ski trip. So I needed something else, so I cast it on. 112 stitches, about 12 centimeters of 1x1 ribbing, then 11 centimeters of just plain stockinette, and then moving into the decrease for the crown, which is just, you know, split the stitches into 4 sections, and then decreasing every 4th row 3 times, and then every 2nd row until I just had 8 stitches left, and then pulled through and added a pom-pom. Let's see if I should just put it on. I don't think I am a hat lady, but love it. And I did wear it at the sheep's show because it was sometimes a bit chilly. Yeah. Very simple hat, and I finished it in the car when we drove down there. The yarn is a combination of the coast yarn, as I just talked about, cotton and wool, held together with Titicaca, which is a 100% alpaca yarn, giving this warm, slightly fluffy fabric. yeah, both of them, those yarns is also available in the shop. I like it. Yes, so that was done. Those were the two finished objects in this episode. But let's move on to what is on my needles, because on a road trip we do need to have a good project to work on, and I started a new project. A couple of episodes ago I talked about this book Heather Hill, which is also designed by Line Holme Samsø. Yeah, many beautiful designs in here, and what I'm working on now is the Isla sweater, and it is this amazing all over cable sweater. So I do not normally knit many sort of cable sweaters. I like just the sea of stockinette stitches and just knitting in the round, but I thought I would challenge myself and take on a full attention project, and I did. I have completed the back of this jumper. Moving over here, and the cables are these beautiful cables over here on each side. If you know the pattern, you can see that this cable is not right. It should be sort of just going round and round and round, but I kept one of the cable, one of the cable legs, can you say that, on top, so it becomes a more squiggly expression or view, but hey, that's beautiful too. In the center it is plain, or not plain, but it is blackberry stitches. I am not fully in love with those because each second row it is purled 3 together. So I do have to look at my knitting, I do have to pay attention, and it can be a bit hard on my hands and shoulders. But I have pushed through and finished the back of the jumper. The yarn is the super soft held together with the titicaca, giving this fluffy warm fabric. And as the super soft is still unwashed, when you knit with it, it will bloom significantly when it is washed. So I can just see it fluff up and fill out some of the gaps between these blackberry stitches. This will be a very warm winter garment for sure. So it may be put on pause when it heats up here and be finished for the next winter. That was the back. I am on the front, and this jumper is made, you know, the design and the construction is back and front and sleeves knitted flat and then sewing them together at the end. Here is the front, so I am halfway up to the sleeve decreases or the armhole decreases, and I'll just show you the yarn. So the super soft in color bleached white and titicaca in equi held together. Love this combination. Love this combination. Giving a beautiful, beautiful winter fabric. That is on my needles. A new project that jumped on my needles the other day is another blanket. A few episodes ago you would see that I have sort of started I found my way into blanket throw knitting. And we were going to watch the Women's Soccer World Cup game, England-Denmark, and I thought I can't bring the Isla sweater. That's just too complicated, and I wouldn't see anything of the game. So I decided that I would use some of my very old stashed yarn for a simple garter stitch blanket. And I casted it on my way into the to the game when we were on the train. The yarn is this, well, it's an old yarn that I bought from Garnosat in Denmark, and it is this thick and thin wool yarn, and it has a bit, well, it's black and then just a tiny bit of threads of fluff of lighter grey or graphite grey in it. I don't know whether I bought a kilo, possibly. I have a lot. So I thought, well, this will be a blanket. I call this my poodle throw, my poodle blanket, because it gives this texture when knitted up just garter stitches. And I am knitting on a 5.5 millimeter needle, so that is a US something 9, yes. And I'm just knitting garter 260 stitches. Hope that will be wide enough and that I will have yarn enough to make it long enough. Yeah, and I think the yarn hold itself together, so it won't be as drapey and droopy if it was just without these thick and thin. Yeah, so here it is, the poodle throw or blanket. Yeah, I started this on Wednesday the 28th, Friday 28th of July, so it's just 2 days old. But I can knit on this when the Isla becomes too challenging, or I need to watch something and my hands just work. That was the second work in progress. Yeah. Those are the projects that I will talk about today. So that is what is currently happening on and off my knitting needles. Now let's take you back to a wonderful weekend at the Australian Sheep and Wool Show in Bendigo. Here is a short little video of the yarn and of sheep and of wool, and I hope you will enjoy. I hope you enjoyed that. I for sure enjoyed going there with my very good friends. They were a laugh. We had such a good time, and it was just a joyful reprieve from my otherwise challenging reality. So it was a bit of a joyful escape. So thank you to my dear friends. And if you want to see more from the Sheep and Wool show, head over to Cookie Knits. So just write it down here. Cookie Knits, she created a wonderful blog with a lot of laughter and a lot of giggling from the Sheep and Wool show. So you can see more there. It was a fabulous event, and I'm happy that I've experienced it. I've wanted it for a long time. I don't know whether I need to go next year as well, maybe in a few years' time again. You might think whether I bought something when walking the halls of beautiful wool, and yes, I did, but I was very restrained. So this is the yarn that I got. It is a fade set, and it's dyed by Cass of Hodgepodge Fibers, no, Hodgepodge Skeins. And as you can see, it's just my colors, my tonal colors. It's called the Stone Fade, and it's 4 times 50 gram of 4-ply sock yarn. So here they are, very, very beautiful. This brown color here is deep and dark with brown and gray, and a much more steely gray here, and then we move into lighter grays with some orange and terracotta speckles. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And you would have seen that she also dyes up these amazing neon colors in the video. When talking to her, she mentioned that she has 100 recipes for colors. Oh, yeah, a busy bee. So check her out. I can highly recommend her yarn. Yeah. What these will turn into, I don't know yet. So far they will be part of the interior design. Yeah. In the video, you may also have noticed that there were these boxes of buttons, and I totally fell in love with these 80s sort of vintage, it's not vintage, but bright, shiny buttons. So I bought a few, and apologies for the crinkling. So this will be hard to show, but here is one of them, a bright gold button, and a smaller size as well, the same style. And then another one here in the gold with a nice little squiggly on it. Moving into or on the way to the silver, here is one with a little stone in the center. And then moving into the silver buttons, we get into a series of 2 again, so a textured silver, matte silver, and here again on a lighter size. And then there are a few of very small sort of children's buttons. I got some of those, and then this, which I totally fell in love with. It looks like lava. I don't know whether you can see that. Might actually be better. Let's just see if there's anything. Oh, this one as well. Yeah, but I thought, ooh, for a to spice up a very, I'm about to say basic, simple, one-colored monochrome cardigan. Wouldn't it be lovely with some beautiful buttons on it, silver or gold? That was everything that I purchased at the wool show. Oh, that's not true. I also bought 4 bags of herbal tea that I brew each night and enjoy just a sort of calming, nice tea with my knitting. That was the sheep and wool show. And that also almost takes me to the end of the creative part. But I want to share as well a gift I received from 2 of my wonderful podcast colleagues in Denmark, Tina from Hverdagsro and Henriette from Strik og oh, this is hard to say, Henriette from Strik og Sludder. So they both podcast in Danish, and in the last episode I shared the story about what my personal life looks as at the moment, and they thought they would cheer me up with a beautiful thought and a beautiful gift. So let me share what they were so kind to gifting to me. Sauce, béarnaise, which is the favorite béarnaise sauce. We can't get it here in Australia, so Henriette, thank you so much. And she also gifted this beautiful skein of yarn. It might be her own dyeing, could be. I need to ask her. Thank you so much, Henriette. Beautiful colors with these green, teal, and then terracotta brown. And then there is also this little progress keeper attached to it, made of small pearls. Thank you so much, Henriette. This is a superwash merino 400 meter skein. A shawl or color work. Thank you so much. And then Tina gave me a wonderful book in Danish. It's written by a Danish comedian, Hella Juf, and where she shares her life wisdom, her rules of life. One of her life rules is to sprinkle glitter over good memories and place these glittering memories on the mantelpiece and just, you know, save them and treasure them and let them shine. So yes, there is a bit of glitter on the front, and staying with the theme of glitter, Tina gifted me with these 2 glitter yarns. This is copper brown and then a dusty rose. What they will become and where they will be integrated, I don't know yet, but for sure I think we all need a bit of glitter in our lives. Thank you so much, Tina and Henriette. I was in tears of gratitude, and when seeing that package and just being so grateful of the supporting thoughts that has been sent my way. That also brings me to all of you who watches this episode and have watched the last one. All of your comments I just reread today, where I needed a bit of extra support, and each and every one of them holds me up and supports me through a very challenging time. Many of you have experienced the same situation as I'm in, and say that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I can't wait for that day and to feel more joyful again. It will take time. I will share, but I hope that, you know, these personal challenges won't take over this channel. One of my values is authenticity, and I think as human beings we need each other, and being vulnerable and sharing what is just a bit below the surface will help us connect as human beings, as people. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for all the support, the comments of prayers and thoughts, and sharing your experiences dealing with grief. Makes me feel less alone. So thank you so much. I think that's it. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you got a bit of knitting done. And I am looking forward to seeing you again very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.